Late October evening in Boston. The streets of Beacon Hill were covered in a thick, rolling fog that clung to the brick buildings, dampening the distant sounds of traffic and footsteps. A cold wind carried the scent of wet leaves and rusted metal. Most shops were closed, their windows dark, but one small shop stood out. A dusty, forgotten toy store with a crooked wooden sign that swayed lightly in the wind. A dim red lantern flickered above the entrance, casting shadows that danced unnaturally across the sidewalk. Inside, the air was heavy, with the smell of old varnish and dust. Shelves were crammed with abandoned toys, porcelain dolls with cracked faces, tin soldiers missing their arms, and wooden horses whose wheels had rotted away. But on the far corner of the shop, something drew Ananya's attention immediately. A doll unlike any other sat on a high shelf, bathed in faint, eerie light. Its crimson velvet dress shimmered slightly. Its black hair flowed perfectly, and its glassy eyes, they seemed alive, reflecting the dim lantern glow as if following her every movement. Ananya, a college student with a fascination for rare toys, whispered to her best friend Ria, "Ria, look at her. She's different." Ria's lips trembled as she looked. "Different? That's creepy. Let's go." "No," Ananya said, her voice steady, though her hands shook. "I have to have her." The shopkeeper emerged from the shadows, a thin, elderly man with sunken eyes and a crooked smile. "Ah, you've chosen Labubu," he said in a voice that made Ananya shiver. "She chooses who takes her. Not everyone can see her alive." Ria's hand tightened around Ananya's sleeve. "Alive? It's just a doll." Ignoring her friend, Ananya handed over the money. The shopkeeper's hands were icy cold as he passed Labubu to her. A sudden shiver ran up Ananya's spine, and she felt a faint, rhythmic pulse beneath the porcelain skin. She almost dropped it, but something, a pull she could not resist, urged her to keep it. Back in her Boston apartment, Ananya placed Labubu on her study table. Moonlight spilled through the window, illuminating the doll's face. Its lips curved into a faint smile that seemed sharper in the silver light. Its eyes glinted unnaturally, reflecting a subtle intelligence that unnerved her. That night's sleep was impossible. Every time she closed her eyes, Labubu's unblinking gaze was there. Around midnight, her table lamp flickered violently. On, off, on, off. Then a heavy thud made her jump. The doll lay on the floor, eyes fixed on her. Trembling, she picked it up and set it back on the table. Silence fell, but the unease remained. Morning brought no relief. Head throbbing, Ananya tried to focus in class, but her gaze kept drifting to empty corners of the room, imagining Labubu's eyes following her. She whispered to Ria, "It moves, Ria, I swear, and it's watching me." Ria shook her head. "It's your imagination. Dolls don't move." The following nights were worse. Labubu's attacks increased. Lamps flickered. Objects shifted mysteriously, and she sometimes found the doll sitting impossibly close to her bed. Her headaches worsened. Her body felt drained. She tried boxing the doll, but it always reappeared, sometimes in impossible places, on the kitchen counter, in the bathroom, or even near her bedroom door. One night, Labubu lunged at her feet. She awoke screaming, feeling tiny punctures on her toes. Blood trickled, but she was frozen, unable to move. Her vision blurred as the doll's glassy eyes reflected a sadistic glee. Ananya collapsed unconscious. When she woke, the room was eerily silent. Bloodstains marked the floor. Labubu was gone. Fear had seeped into her very soul. Ria, finally convinced of the supernatural events, helped her trap Labubu in a heavy, sealed box. They carried it to Boston Harbor, intending to throw it far into the water. The box hit the edge, trembled violently, and a faint, sinister giggle echoed through the fog. Then, silence. They ran home, hearts pounding. Weeks later, Ananya tried to resume normal life. She avoided dolls entirely. Yet at night, shadows seemed to stretch toward her. Sometimes, from the corner of her eye, she glimpsed glimmering eyes. Labubu was gone from sight, but the fear remained. On a particularly foggy night, the air grew heavy with anticipation. A faint whisper drifted through the apartment, chilling her to the bone. A soft, rhythmic tapping came from her study table. Heart pounding, she turned slowly. The doll was back. Labubu's crimson dress gleamed under the lamp's flicker, and its eyes, alive, watching, waiting. Its lips curved into a horrifyingly wide smile, sharper than ever, revealing tiny porcelain teeth dripping with shadows she couldn't explain. Ananya froze. This time, she knew she could not escape. The doll's presence filled the room like a living entity, suffocating and oppressive. Labubu's gaze pierced her, pulling at her very soul. She realized with dawning horror. Labubu had never left. She had only waited, and now she wanted more. The last thing Ananya saw before the darkness consumed her was Labubu's smile. Not playful, not innocent, pure malevolence. Alive, watching, and victorious. Somewhere, in the foggy streets of Boston, Labubu waits still. Watching, smiling. Alive,